Right, I've just been informed that we've started webcasting. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to this application for a new premises license for Smack's Hamburger at 46 West Street, Brighton, Bravo November 1 to Romeo Alpha. Could I just ask the panel amongst themselves, please, to elect a chair?
Nominate Councillor Julie Cattell.
I'll second that.
I think we might have actually lost Councillor Cattell. 1 second. Just trying to get her back. One second, let's see if we can pause the webcast for just a moment. No, Claire's here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. So this is an application for a new premises license for Smacks Hamburger at 46 West Street, Brighton, Bravo November 1 2 Romeo Alpha. Could I just ask the councillors please to elect a chair amongst themselves?
Nominate Councillor Cattell.
Seconded.
Thank you,
Councillor
everybody.
Patel, you're the chair.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm really sorry about the delay. Apparently there is a massive outage in my area, so it wasn't just my bad Virgin box. But anyway, let's see. Okay, so do we have any substitutes this morning? No? Okay. Declarations of interest?
No.
No? Okay. And we don't have to exclude the press and public today because there are no non-public items on the agenda. So we are being webcast, so we're all in open session. Can I just ask everybody to introduce themselves, starting with me? I'll start, and then the other members of the panel. And is everybody okay with using first names? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, I'm Councillor Julie Cattell. I'm Deputy Chair of the Licensing Committee.
Councillor Ollie
Morning,
Sykes,
Alice.
member of the
Oh,
Licensing
sorry.
Committee.
Oh,
Did you hear that, Councillor Ollie Sykes, member of the Licensing Committee?
Councillor Alison Thompson, member of the Licensing Committee and Labour Councillor for Regency Ward.
Rebecca and
Yes, Rebecca Siddell, legal advisor to the panel.
Emma.
I'm Emma Grant. I'm presenting the application today.
Donna.
Good morning. Donna Linsdale, making a representation on behalf of the licensing authority, replacing Emily Fountain today as she's poorly. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'll give her our best. Frankie.
Good morning, Frankie Mitchell, Democratic Services, and I'm clerking this meeting.
Sarah.
Good morning, Sarah Booker-Lewis, local democracy reporter for Brighton and Hove, representing the majority of news media in the city.
Thank you. Claire.
Claire Abdulkader, Sussex Police Licensing Officer, representing Sussex Police today.
Thank you. How's your internet connection?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, good, good. Thank you. And finally, Richard, Mr. Haddad.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Richard Haddad. I'm a chartered environmental health officer. I'm here to represent the applicant Beano Hospitality Limited, trading as Smacks Hamburgers.
Thank you very much. Okay, let me just go back to my running order. Okay, so this is an application for a new premises license at Smacks Hamburger, 46 West Street, Brighton, BM1 2RA. Can you please make sure your microphone is on when speaking, and if possible your camera, because it's always nice to see people. Please turn your mic and camera off when not speaking. I will now hand over to, oh gosh, where are we? I'll now hand over to Emma to present the case.
Thank you, Chair. As we've heard, this application is for a new premises licence for Smacks Hamburgers, 46 West Street, Brighton, for late night refreshments Sunday to Thursday from 2300 hours to 0200 hours, and Friday and Saturday from 2300 to 0300 hours, and opening from 8 AM every day. There have been two representations to the application from the Police and Licensing Authority. The representations received had concerns relating to the prevention of crime and disorder, prevention of public nuisance, and that it falls within the cumulative impact area as defined in the Statement of Licensing Policy. The representations can be found in Appendix C of the agenda. The licensing authority's cumulative impact area, as defined in the Statement of Licensing Policy, was adapted to give greater powers to control the number of licensed premises within the city centre. The special policy was set up because the licensing authority determined that the concentration of licensed premises and the subsequent number of people drawn into the city centre was causing exceptional problems of crime and disorder and public nuisance. The effect of the policy is that applications for new premises licence should normally be refused following relevant representations. This presumption of refusal can be rebutted by the applicant if they can show that their application will have no negative impact on the licensing objectives. The Statement of Licensing Policy includes a matrix approach for licensing decisions with provisions for a term allow for all classes of licensed premises in a particular area. The matrix model recognises a diverse operation and different risks presented by different classes of licensed premises. It provides a vision of what the licensing authority would like to see within its area and gives an indication of likelihood of success or otherwise to investors and local businesses making applications. Under the matrix, applications for late night refreshment are not considered favourably in this cumulative impact area. However, each application must be considered on its individual merits. The panel must listen to all the parties and decide whether the applicant has demonstrated exceptional circumstances to depart from the policy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma. I'll now go over to, oh, sorry, Rebecca. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, through you, Chair. What's the application for? Because there's two, the report says till 3 a.m. every day, and then and also the police rep says that, but you said it's 2 and 3. I'm not sure. Can we just check that?
Oh, I'll double check. Yeah.
Good idea.
So can I just confirm, during your narrative, you said it's opening from 8 a.m. The actual opening is at 11 a.m, not 8 a.m.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Right, let me have a look then. Where have I got those numbers from? Bear with me.
I mean, I believe the police think it's till 3 a.m.
Oh, right, okay, sorry, apologies. I don't know where I've got those numbers from then.
The applicant confirms it's 3 a.m. daily?
That's correct, Councillor.
Okay, apologies, sorry, I don't know where I got those numbers from.
It's obviously one of those days today.
Yes.
Okay, so is that okay, everybody? We're agreed that those timings are correct now. Is that okay, Richard? Yeah.
That's fine, thank you, Councillor.
Cheers. Okay, I'll move on to Claire to give the police representations.
Thank you, Chair. As mentioned, this is an application for a new premises licence within the cumulative impact area as defined by the Brighton and Hove City Council licensing policy. Late night refreshment premises are typically a no under the decision-making matrix in this area. The application seeks to licence late night refreshment from 2300 until 3 a.m. every day with opening hours of 11 a.m. till 3 a.m. The applicant did not pre-consult with Sussex Police, and we do not believe that they offered any unique reasons why their application would be an exception to policy, or why the Statement of Licensing Policy matrix should be departed from. While they do make mention of the special policy within their application, it's not felt that anything they have provided fully addresses local concerns or shows that their application will have no negative cumulative impact. Therefore, police believe that this application does not provide evidence to rebut the presumption of refusal in the CIZ. The Brighton and Hove City Council Special Policy states at paragraph 3.1.6 that it'll only be overridden in exceptional circumstances. And we do not believe that any evidence has been offered that this is an exception to policy. While we acknowledge that the licence application is not asking for the sale of alcohol, Offering hot food and drink into the early hours encourages persons who may be under the influence of alcohol or drugs from other premises to remain in the area, which is already evidenced as highly problematic. As the main focus street of the nighttime economy, West Street suffers from a high level of crime and disorder and is a focal point for the police's Operation Marvel patrols. If a new licence for late night refreshment is granted in this area, it's highly likely to increase the risk of crime, disorder, antisocial behaviour and public nuisance in an area that's already got a high number of existing licensed premises. Sussex Police use their own recording system for incidents in licensed premises and the surround, and crime stats have been produced using this. So I looked at the 12 months between the 14th of July 2024 and the 13th of July 2025 within a 0.5 mile radius, which is approximately 400 metres. For reference, this stretches roughly from North Road off Queen's Road down to the shoreline, and from Clarence Square to the west to just before Oldstein to the east, places that are all easily walkable from the address. During this time, in that year, there were 9,195 recorded incidents, and these will have all required some form of police interaction, attendance or time. Of these 9,195 incidents, around half, so 4,540, were recorded crimes. The top three crime groups throughout the week were theft at 42%, violence against the person at 25%, and public order at 12%. It's worth noting there was a peak in crime between midnight and 3 o'clock in the early hours of Saturday, and this extends from 2300 till 4 o'clock from Saturday into Sunday. At the weekends, which includes Friday night up to the hours of early morning, violence against the person replaces theft as the top crime type and rises from the 25% we saw during the week to 43%. This provides real evidence of the risk of potential violent crime and disorder, particularly against persons in this area. And again, a peak was seen between midnight and 4, with the highest risk time being between 1 and 2 on a Sunday morning. Recent data research under Op Marble by police has shown that there has been an increase in violent crime and incidents related directly to alcohol and drugs in the city centre year on year. So 2022, there were 2,776 crimes. In 2023, there were 3,289. And in 2024, there were 3,360. So it is increasing year on year. West Street forms one of the main licensed premises heavy streets in the centre of town. It's known to both locals and visitors to be a popular area, and so it sees high foot traffic and road traffic throughout the year. Police therefore have concerns about another venue with later hours in an area already saturated with licensed premises that could potentially add to the issues that West Street and the surrounding area already faces. This application therefore has the potential risk of undermining the prevention of crime and disorder and public nuisance licensing objectives. Furthermore, Sussex Police contend that any new licensed premises and the carrying on of additional licensable activity, particularly with hours until 3 o'clock, has the potential to add to the negative existing cumulative impact. Under the Brighton and Hove City Council policy, the expectation is that operators will provide special attention when they're drawing up their operating schedules, and the applicant should show that they will not add any negative impact to the problematic area. If this is not the case, then the application should be refused following relevant representations. The applicant did offer some information under Section 18 and provided a separate document of proposed conditions which have been included within the paperwork. While this is welcomed, Sussex Police do not believe these go far enough to help mitigate any potential risk in this area of the city. Since receiving the police and local authority representations, the applicant has been in contact via email. They've agreed to the potential conditions written by Sussex Police that were circulated under Appendix 1 of our representation letter. While it's positive that the applicant has stated they will agree to the police proposed wording, it is important to remember that conditions can never fully mitigate the risks associated with opening into the early hours of the morning. They go some way to reduce incidents occurring within the premises itself, but there are no conditions that can address the risks around takeaway. Customers are away from the control of the premises, with risks of them becoming a victim of crime or partaking in criminal activity. All this risk then in turn falls to the emergency services to deal with, as can be seen by the large number of incidents recorded by the police. or in relation to public nuisance, the local licensing authority officers are having to pick that up. In their email reply, Mr. Haddad also suggested they would be agreeable to some of the other conditions that police proposed in their rep letter, including closing the premises fully to the public at midnight and offering delivery only from this time, deliveries only being allowed to be placed and delivered to a private or workplace address, and an SIA security risk assessment. But it may be worth the applicant clarifying this at the hearing today to get a full picture of the licensable activity hours they are wanting and how they propose that they will look in order for all the rest to be taken into consideration. Ideally, from a police perspective, as we're seeing a peak in crime between midnight and 4 at the weekends and from 2300 Saturday into Sunday, then the premises would close to dine-in and walk-in customers from 2300. This is in line when the late night refreshment becomes a relevant licensable activity and to mirror the decision-making matrix for takeaway premises in the CIZ. Should the panel be minded to grant later hours, then a switch to delivery only from this time could be an option, although how this will be managed on West Street will need to be explored. Additionally, conditions which ensure that the food is only ordered to a residential business address will need to be included and agreed to stop people walking down the road, calling up and having it delivered there. Sussex Police continue to have concerns about the late night hours being applied for and how this will work in practice if the premises were to remain open to the public after 2300. We would therefore strongly suggest that if the panel is minded to grant, that SIO door staff would be needed if the premises remains open for takeaways past 2300 to ensure optimum customer and staff safety. But if there is a move to delivery only after this time, then conditions may need to be considered around the front door being locked or access limited to only staff as a condition to ensure that no issues with customers coming into the premises thinking they can order and perhaps becoming angry or aggressive with staff when they cannot. We welcome proposals from the applicant today as to how they will manage and mitigate the risk of to prevent undermining the prevention of crime and public nuisance licensing objectives. This may include further amendments to timings, licensable activity, additional conditions, or evidencing of exceptional circumstances. It could be, however, that the committee feel this risk cannot be lessened or managed upon hearing the applicant's submissions, and that there are no exceptional circumstances to justify departing from the special policy. It's for these reasons that Sussex Police would ask you, the committee, to seriously consider refusing this application in light of the local issues, crime and disorder statistics and police concerns. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claire. Donna, would you like to put the licensing authority's case forward, please?
Oh, sorry, through you, Chair.
Yeah.
Questions for Claire.
Yes, sorry. I in my running order it says after both have spoken, but I'm happy to say questions now. Sorry. So, would any questions from members of the panel, please?
No, thank you. That's very comprehensive.
Alison?
Thanks, Julie. Yeah, I did put my hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Claire. I did have a couple of questions. I'm just one of the things on the conditions. One of the items that the police have suggested on the conditions is about having a door supervisor from 9 p.m. If we were looking at having, I don't know, one of the options that has been put forward is to have deliveries only after midnight, so extending it to midnight and then deliveries only after that. Would that mean then that would you still want to make sure that there was a door supervisor there, that they still had SIA in place? What's the feeling there?
I guess it would depend on what's decided on, really. Obviously, we do see increase in crime from 2300 in the CIZ, especially West Street. But I am also aware that a lot of security operators will only offer a minimum of 4 or 5 hours contract. So it would be looking to how that could be managed in a realistic possibility. We would want to see door staff up until midnight or whatever time is decided upon if the license is granted. I think that does need to be taken into consideration, but a lot of that will depend on what is decided, really. But yes, I would say that if the premises does get that 1 hour of late night refreshment until midnight, they would need some form of security, because people start moving around between the hours of 2300 to midnight, either going home, going to the next location. There will be an increased risk.
And so, I mean, you mentioned about these security hours. We had this conversation last week in the panel that I was in. Is that a week, up sort of 4 or 5 hours a week? Because if we're talking about from 9 o'clock every night and they're closing at midnight, I mean, that's going to take you well over, you know,
Yes,
if that's
so
what we're discussing.
I think Mr. Haddad would probably be in a better position to answer that. I'm aware they have a number of premises in London, so he might be able to offer how they manage that security timings. Obviously, you know, that shouldn't necessarily put the panel off from putting things about security, but I think he would be in a better position to answer that, as he probably has explored that with local companies.
Could I ask a final question as well? Were you concerned that they didn't consult with you beforehand? Is that normal? I don't know.
I mean, the police preference would be that everyone would pre-consult with us, just so that we could help iron out a lot of these issues before we get to panel, and be able to manage expectations from both sides. I think SMACS, having looked at their website, yes, they do have a number of venues in London, so I would imagine they'll have had interactions with police before around licensing. So I was a bit surprised they didn't contact us, because they're more of a chain than just a singular. But, you know, it's probably a 50-50 split as to whether people pre-consult or don't. So, yeah.
Thank you. That's great.
Sorry, Chair. I do have one quick one, if that's all right. I mean, just
No, sorry, no, it's not. Can we just hold on until I've asked you to comment? I'm asking Donna next. Thank you. If there's anything she'd like to say.
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay. Now, if you'd like to, so Ollie, would you like? Sorry, Ollie, I didn't see your hand go up. Yeah. Sorry.
No, yes, that's fine. I mean, just to clarify, I mean, the situation around, say we were to do delivery only, Claire, I mean, conceivably there might still be sort of security issues. Did you suggest that an SIA security guard in the eventuality of doing delivery only after midnight would also be appropriate?
I mean, I think that would be for the premises to say how they're going to manage that. I mean, obviously security is an extra expense. If there's no public access to the premises, then I think it would be difficult to justify having SIA on site. I mean, I guess it depends how it's managed. If they're having a side door where they just like pass the orders out of hatch to their third party delivery service, then I would suggest that SIA would not be needed. It might be that there's a sort of half-hour window where they shut the front door and they need, you know, someone to move people on. But if the door is locked and people can't access, I think it would just need to be asked the applicant how they're going to manage that. It's for them to sort of tell us.
Thank you.
Hey, Donna, have you got any questions?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay. Richard, have you got any questions of Claire?
No, I mean, I think there's answers, but I mean, members can request the answers to Claire's questions in regards to the other venues throughout the country, but also across London where there are CIZs in place. And we've worked with.
Sorry, Richard, this is for you to ask questions.
No, there's no questions from us. No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Right. Now then, sorry. Bit distracted by some noise going on over here. Sorry about that. Right. Okay. So now it's time for you to do make your representations, Richard. Sorry. No.
Through you. Sorry, Chair. It'll be Donna for the licensing authority.
Yeah, Donna said. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. There's quite a lot of noise going on, which is distracting me. Sorry, Donna.
Thank you, Chair.
Gosh, bad start to the day.
We make this representation on behalf of the Council's licence team in their capacity as a responsible authority in relation to an application for a new premises licence for late night refreshment. A copy of this representation can be seen on pages 25 and 26. This representation is made as the licence team have concerns that the application could have a negative impact on the licensing objectives of the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. We also refer to the special policy on community of impact contained within the Council's Statement of Licensing Policy. The Council Statement of Licensing Policy includes a matrix approach for licensing decisions with provisions for a terminal hour for all classes of licensed premises in a particular area. The matrix model recognises the diverse operation and different risks presented by different classes of licensed premises. It also provides a vision of what the licensing authority would like to see within its area and gives an indication of the likelihood of success or otherwise to investors and local businesses making applications. This premises falls within the licensed authority's community of impact area, which was adopted to give greater power to the control of non-licensed premises within the city centre. The special policy was introduced because the licensing authority determined that the concentration of licensed premises and the subsequent numbers of people drawn into the city centre is causing exceptional problems of crime disorder and public nuisance. Guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licence Act, December 2023, states in paragraph 8.43 that applicants are expected to include positive proposals in their application on how they will manage any potential risks. Where specific policies apply in the area, for example, the community of impact zone, applicants are also expected to demonstrate an understanding of how the policy impacts on their application, any measures they will take to mitigate the impact, and why they consider the application should be exceptional to policy. On looking at the application form, we acknowledge that the applicant has addressed the premises location within the CIZ and has put additional provisions in their operating schedule, which will help to minimise some risk, including the provision of door staff on Fridays and Saturdays from 2100 until close. Nonetheless, granting this application is likely to add additional burdens and problems in an already challenging area, particularly where customers are waiting in the premises to place or collect orders and deliveries are taking place until 3 a.m, Sunday to Thursday, without any door staff. Therefore, the licensing team wish to bring this application to the attention of the panel so that they can question the applicant further and decide whether this action constitutes exceptional circumstances to depart from the policy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions for Donna? First of all, panel.
Yeah, just to be clear, thank you, Chair. I mean, just to be clear, you're just giving us the heads up that this might be a problem and not necessarily recommending we turn it down. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, West Street is a very, very busy area. Obviously, there is also the Queen's Road, which joins to West Street, and you have also North Street. So it's quite the centre of the hub of the city. And obviously, because the premises hasn't been operating prior to us making a representation, we cannot state that they would have a definite impact on the area. However, any new licenses granted within that area for alcohol or late night refreshment would cause great concerns to us.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Granting the application is still likely to add additional burdens, even with the mitigation in place. Okay, thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Claire, is I'm guessing not, but is there anything you'd like to ask Donna?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay, Richard, is there anything you'd like to ask?
No, that's fine. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, now finally, I'll get it right this time. It's time for Richard to put forward the applicant's case. Thank you very much.
Good morning, members. My name is Richard Haddad. As we were introduced earlier, I'm a chartered environmental health officer with over 30 years experience in environmental health licensing for local authorities. And I've been acting on behalf of Beano Hospitalities Limited, trading as Smacks Hamburgers, 46 West Street, Brighton, on this application for late night refreshments. Just in my background, Smacks Hamburgers have been operating for over 6 months without any complaints or action from any of the statutory authorities, such as the police or environmental health. The business currently provides eat-in and takeaway from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. However, as members will know, by walking down the streets, there has been a 30% drop in footfall on our high streets and towns due to the COVID pandemic, the recession, and of course, the cost of living crisis. Yesterday, I tasked the applicant to walk around the neighbourhood streets and record all the empty and closed food businesses and drinking establishments that have closed since 2023. Over 30 businesses were recorded, which is not only staggering, but alarming. It also means potentially 30 businesses no longer in the cumulative impact zone. Businesses like Smacks are generally struggling to survive, therefore increasing the hours of operation till 3 a.m. to take advantage of the nighttime economy will significantly improve the business's prospects. For clarity, the previous occupier of 46 West Street was Happy Chicken, which had a late night refreshment licence, which was surrendered or cancelled late last year. Unfortunately, Smacks missed out on transferring the licence as we're busy refurbishing the premises. So there was a licence for that premises previously. Members of the licensing committee will also be aware that the West Street does sit within the Brighton's Cumulative Impact Zone, the CIZ, where there is an automatic rebuttal. However, the policy relating to the CIZ is not absolute, and especially if the applicant can demonstrate that the application will have no negative cumulative impact or will not add to the cumulative impact. Members will also note this application supports the Brighton and Hove Economic Plan 2024. As mentioned, the premises application is for late night refreshment only and not for the retail sale of alcohol or regulated entertainment, both of which are more likely to cause public nuisance, crime and disorder than late night refreshments. We have been in dialogue with the police, and our apologies. We did apologise from the outset for not talking to the police before putting the application in. And they have stated clearly their position in relation to the automatic rebuttal in accordance with the council's licensing policy. They don't have a choice. They rebut. The applicant has provided a number of suggested conditions within the application to ensure no negative impact on the licensing objectives. The police have acknowledged these and provided some additional conditions which have been agreed and provided here for your consideration. The applicants are very, very reasonable and want to work with all the licensing authorities. For your information, the applicant from the outset has encouraged community green transport in regards to deliveries and has worked with local businesses to do litter picks at the end of the actual evening to reduce the likelihood of litter in the area. The police have raised concerns relating to crime and disorder in the area. In response to this concern, the applicant has agreed to the proposed condition and is offering a closure at midnight and a eat-in service only to be supported by SOA staff within that premises, so that there isn't any takeaway taking place. So individuals will be sitting in and consuming food. By permitting consumption only within the venue, they then take responsibility for the safeguarding of their consumers and can have the SOA security in place to help manage this. The applicant has offered one SOA staff from 2100 on a Friday and Saturday night to support this. In conclusion, the applicant takes the licensing objectives very seriously and wants to work with all the responsible authorities and promote the objectives of the licensing policy to ensure a safer, cleaner street scene, and also in association with the corporate plan and statement of licensing policy. I've ended my presentation now. Thank you very much. I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much. Members of the panel who would like to kick off? Alison.
Thank you, Chair.
And then I'll,
Thanks, Richard, for your presentation. I've got a few questions. I mean, you've answered some of them. Could I just check a few things? First of all, you mentioned that the previous occupant that the licence had lapsed. Do you know what time that was until?
And I think I thank the police for bringing it to my attention that there was a licence in place until the end of the year, until 12 midnight.
Right, that was what I was asking. 12 midnight. All right. Okay. So so you've just mentioned about security, and you said that you would have you would close at midnight on a Friday and Saturday, and you would have an SIA. Sorry, you'd close at midnight every night, and then you'd have an SIA on Fridays and Saturdays from 9 p.m. Yes. So okay, so they'd start at 9 and finish at midnight. Is that what you're saying?
No. On what day? Sorry, I missed that.
Sorry, so you mentioned about getting an SIA, and you were agreed that you would do it 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday. So that would be 9 p.m. to midnight. Is that right?
No, 9 a.m. till 3 a.m.
9 p.m.
No, 3 a.m. So closing at 3 a.m.
Oh, I see. Right, 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sorry, I thought we were talking then about. I thought you'd said that if you were obliged to close at midnight, then you would have a right.
Yes, so it would be closed. The doors would be shut. So it'd be only they would only allow people for sit-in as opposed to take away. Because one of the
I see. Right. Okay.
So Councillor Thompson, the concerns with the CIZ and not to add to that CIZ is that we contain the people within there, so they're not buying their takeaways and spreading the antisocial behaviour potentially. So this is why we've come up with this suggested way forward to reduce the impact.
Could I ask about deliveries, please? Because I just wondered what access is there to Smacks? Is it only through the front door, or is there does it go out?
There is a rear door at the back.
There's a rear door.
Yeah.
Well, where are you intending to get deliveries picked up from? West Street?
From the front door. But then that would be through. We would only be doing delivery platforms such as Uber and Just Eat. So,
yeah, no, I understand that, but it does mean that there will be people. I mean, if we were to say, looking at the various options, if we were to sort of give you a certain time to close, and then you could do sort of deliveries after that time, there would still be a congregation of Deliveroo and all the other drivers on the front in West Street, I suspect.
Not really, no, because we did this in Gants Hill, Hill, which is North London, and the way it works is that the delivery drivers are under instructions. There's 3 of them that work directly with Smacks. So what happens is that they will only come when the order is ready for collection. So we don't have an accumulation. So one of the things that we're trying to do across all the branches is that there isn't a congregation of delivery drivers or other forms of transport such as e-bike, scooters.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that helps. That answers that one. Can I just check what's the situation? There was mention of outdoor eating or seating or something. Do you have? Is there any? The pavement looks tiny.
No,
it's just indoor.
Yes, just indoor.
And how many covers inside?
12.
12. Okay. So I mean that's not very many, is it? So you are sort of presumably off sales, as it were, takeaways is sort of
absolutely, and there is that provisions for individuals to come in and eat and leave. However, there's not a great deal of people eating in.
No, no,
but
okay.
there is potential for, and I've raised this with regard to raising some income for micro businesses, and this is a micro business, and what we're trying to do is act responsibly across the country where they've got sites to ensure there isn't an impact where in CIZ, and as mentioned, all of the sites across the UK are in CIZs.
Right, because that's the nature of your business. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, okay. And have you had much, I mean, can you, it's a bit difficult for us now to get any feedback from anywhere else, but I mean, what's...
No, but we have a very good relationship with the Metropolitan Police across the various divisions. As you can imagine, each area's got their own individual licensing officers. We have they are open and transparent. There hasn't been any incidents or complaints of my nature. I can say that as a chartered environment officer, because I deal with openness and transparency with regard to issues, and I would be open and transparent with you now to say that nothing has been brought to my attention that's caused concern or review of the license for any of the venues.
Okay. Okay, great. I appreciate your time, Richard. I'm dying to know if you've got a nice view in, where are you in Egypt? Sorry, going off tangent.
I am sitting in a hotel which is put up by booking.com because they are the clients, and they've asked me to inspect the venue for them because they've shut down the ability to I can't name the hotel, but they've shut down the ability to actually
sorry, I was just asking where you were, not the...
Well, yeah, no, I'm in Hurghada.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to detract. Thank you. End of question.
Ollie, have you got any questions?
Councillor Thompson's asked the bulk of them, so that they've been covered. I mean, just to be absolutely clear, what we're now proposing is eat in from 11 to 3 a.m. Is that right? With a SIA security guard. So no direct takeaways during that time.
No.
Okay.
I think what we came up with were for the busy times, Friday and Saturday, for SIA staff to be in place.
Yes, Friday and Saturday, as suggested in the police conditions. Yes. And I wasn't entirely clear on your response, Richard, to the question about delivery pickup. I mean, just to be sort of sorry for repetition. There is an entrance at the back, but you seemed a little unsure about the possibility of maybe passing food through the rear entrance. So that would be from the front, would it?
It would be from the front, but it'd be a locked door situation and through the front. But I think, speaking to the applicant, he's quite clear that he during the Friday and Saturday he would be happy to appease the police condition. And I've got to remember and remind you of the police condition in relation to this point, because we agreed to that, and I don't want to muddy the waters in any way. That we agreed that there would be no takeaway from the midnight onwards, and the doors would be only open to fee-paying customers to sit in and eat their meals, to contain the actual to contain the potential problem. And I know that the police had reservations of having both a delivery service and an ET service running at the same time, in that potentially could have a negative impact on the community of impact zone. So we've taken that on board in relation to that.
Okay, sorry. Just to come back on that, you that's slightly different from what I suggested. So from 11 to 12, you can do direct takeaways, and then 11 to midnight, and then midnight to 3 a.m. the door is shut to people walking in for takeaways, but they can walk in to sit in, and you'll do delivery pickup through the front door, from the front door, which will be the bulk of the business between midnight and 3 a.m. as previously suggested, only with 12 covers. So then the question becomes one of how to manage that sort of that pickup service from the premises. And you said that will be by third-party providers, not by directly employed delivery drivers. So just seats and
Yes, Councillor Sykes. There is Sunday to Thursday it'll be in-house staff managing the doors. Okay, and at the weekends when there is more people on the streets, etc., we will have SOA staff managing the doors to allow entry into the premises.
Okay. I think that's clear. Okay, thank you very much, Richard. Cheers.
Alison?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Sorry, could I just ask Richard one more question? I was just sort of thinking, I mean, are you know, or is your client amenable to sort of not give you the full 3 a.m. slot? Because, I mean, the police statistics for this street at that time of night on a Friday and Saturday, or let's say Saturday and Sunday morning, are really quite worrying. And I'm not saying that you're necessarily going to contribute to that because you're selling food, not alcohol. However, it does just mean that there are more people loitering, at that time, hopefully, because, obviously you want the business. Is there some, if we were to look at a shorter time period that you could stay open? I mean, is your client amenable to that? I don't know. Where do you sit?
Okay. Funnily enough, I've just agreed with the Met Police over in Southwark in regards to Walworth Road, because they've got an application which is running parallel to this, and we've agreed 2 a.m. for the premises. So we would be, I think,
every night of the week, is that?
Yes.
Okay. 2
a.m. So the applicant is amenable. He does want to work with the local authority and the other statutory agencies, most definitely the police. And he would be amenable to 2 a.m.
But you see, I mean, it's, what did they say? The highest proportion of all the violence against the person, is 1 till 2 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I mean, that does sort of, we're looking for exceptional circumstances here, Richard.
I understand that, but the condition that we're proposing is that we're keeping the premises. We're not allowing strays to come off the street and take takeaways. They're contained within premises. We had the dialogue with the police. They came up with a proposed condition for members to consider as a way forward. I mean, the track record of the business is impeccable. I can't envisage anything in relation to antisocial behaviour or drug use or alcohol consumption on the premises, because the actual procedures are very tight. We've also submitted an additional condition to the police to risk assess further needs in relation to controls, and the local authority and the police are able to view that, because, as you know, the condition doesn't become live until all the conditions stated within the licence have been implemented to the satisfaction of both the local authority and the police. So there are catch-alls here in relation to covering all bases. In relation to this, and like I said, the business owners are serious about making sure that this business is successful and meets the local needs.
Okay, thank you. I noticed that Claire put her hand up. I mean, because I was thinking that Claire probably had the same questions. I was going to leave it for Claire, but Claire's hand's gone down, so I will ask it. I think you just said you had a conversation with the police, but you haven't had a conversation with Sussex Police. That was part of the issue, wasn't it? You might have had a conversation with police elsewhere, but you haven't had a conversation with Sussex Police about the West Street.
I think I've got some questions. So once I've asked my questions, then we can invite Claire in. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I know Walworth Road. It's a very long stretch of road. It's completely different to West Street, where we've got a massive concentration of clubs and bars and restaurants and so on. And I mean, I've been out with the police several times on Operation Marble, which takes place on Friday nights. and seen incidents, seen fights down there, and we stayed with the police until probably 2 o'clock. And we get a lot of people from out of Brighton coming down to the clubs and so on. And I just think that it's horses for courses, and I think there is a reason why we have this CPZ, and why we're quite strict with it. And I just first of all, I can't see any exceptional circumstances. I'm also very concerned about the delivery drivers, because where are they going to go? If they're not going to congregate outside your place, where do they go? Do they all have to wait somewhere to get to the premises and then get out? And again, I've seen awful, I nearly got run over by a delivery driver at on a bike at about 10 o'clock, where I was with a group of police officers. They just don't care. And a lot of them have illegal bikes and so on. A lot of them ride on the pavement and so on and go far faster than they're allowed to. But in this case, as Alison said, where are they going to go? Are they going to go over the other side of the road and congregate? I mean, this is what I don't understand. How is your client going to stop them from congregating outside and waiting? So those and yeah, you say you've got a very good relationship with the Met. I don't know what their CIZs are like. I don't know what their crime figures are like. But every time we have one of these in the CIZ, I'm just so overwhelmed by the number of recorded crime incidents, and we're very, very stretched. I mean, we're particularly stretched on those nights. I don't know about the Met and their various different divisions. But first of all, could you tell me what your exceptional circumstances are and what you're going to do about the delivery drivers?
Well, the applicant has agreed potentially to accept a condition that says no congregation of riders. Bearing in mind they can have riders up to, they can have late deliveries up until 11 p.m. Either way, we could have either a condition that states no deliveries after 11 p.m. or a condition which states that no congregation of delivery drivers in or around the premises. So that's potentially what the applicant is able to offer, and that wouldn't have an impact on the CIZ.
Well, I suggest it would. And also, what happens when you got 10, 12 people leaving the premises at 2 o'clock? Walking out onto what is it's really quite scary, walking down West Street on a Friday and Saturday. I mean, are they that's the thing that I can't see how it's not going to affect the CIZ.
12 people leaving us. Well, I mean, other than signposting and ensuring that people leave in an orderly fashion, no other premises can control anyone leaving their premises or the vicinity. Once they leave the vicinity, then clearly they will disperse. So I mean, other than
that's half the problem. I mean, yes. People don't disperse. What is your experience that some of your other clients working for the same company? What's their experience of this very late night delivery?
Well, they're not. I mean, I've just done one with Lambeth at the Brixton O2, so on the Stockwell Road, and.
But I know that as well. Yeah.
That's a very similar footfall stroke, a busy sort of area in what's going on, Brixton, Lambeth, Stockwell, and we had a good discussion with the police, taking it forward in relation, and the local authority in regards to the CIZ, and agreed that but the condition would be no accumulations of vehicles. Now, there is a possibility that vehicles can go inside, you know, as in if you're on a moped or a scooter doing deliveries, you can wait inside. So it is, I mean, it is large, and if there is no one there, then they can contain that. So that's possible, but we don't tend to, I mean, from my own understanding of the business, how it works in Brighton, there isn't a huge problem with regard to this premises and deliveries. They are a lot of the business is very much focused on people going in, taking their order, sitting in and eating their meal. That's the main, I think, the main focus, as opposed to the other sites across London, which aren't so fixed on people sitting, and they're more takeaway driven. So this isn't takeaway driven the same way as the sites. So that's why the applicant would be quite happy to potentially look at curbing deliveries from 11 or 12 o'clock, so that there wouldn't be a concern.
Yeah, sorry, you just said curbing deliveries from 11 till 12.
And onwards,
you mean
till close?
Yeah, okay. I don't think it'd be very hygienic to have bikes inside a food premises, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's all my questions. Alison.
Sorry, I'm really confused, Richard. You've just said that the main driver of this, you know, of the business is going to be eating in, but you've only got 12 covers. And I asked you earlier, and you said the main, you know, the main activity is indeed takeaway. I'm a bit confused. You know, the whole build, you know, the way the premises is set up is takeaway. Surely.
It is, yes, but clearly what we were trying to do is ensure that the licence is able to accommodate both. But what we're trying to help the local authority do is answer some of the questions, but also if they have particular concerns in relation to particular areas, we're happy to curb the actual activities.
Yeah, but you said you were only curbing it until, you know, what you wanted was 2 o'clock was your sort of, you know, benchmark. And I've already said to you that, you know, the police have reported that between 1 and 2 on a Sunday morning, that's when the most violence against the person is committed on that street. So, you know, I mean, it's becoming quite difficult, I must admit. I'm struggling to find exceptional circumstances here.
Okay, so we have submitted a draft amount of conditions in relation to the application. The police have also, which we've agreed, there has been dialogue with the police. We've got the emails where there's been dialogue with the police. I know you thought that we hadn't spoken to the police. We have spoken to the police, and we do have.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. That's my fault. Okay, I misunderstood.
Sorry, that's fine. And in regards to this particular application, we've agreed that we will take on the additional conditions in relation to the police. We don't believe that there will be an impact on the CIZ because of the nature of the business and the way the business is operated. And you know, and I've done my best to answer your questions in regards to how the business is going to operate its business in relation to those conditions.
Okay, I appreciate your help. Thank you. I don't have any more questions, Chair.
Thanks, Alison. Sorry, one of the questions you just it's gone out of my head now. Sorry, there was something else I was going to ask. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. If it comes back to me, I'll ask you again. Claire, is there anything you'd like to ask Richard?
Yes, please, Chair. Just got a few questions. So, Richard, at the start of your presentation, you mentioned how you'd got the client to walk around to see which businesses were closed. did your client know whether any of those premises still have live premises license, whether they had licenses, just for a point of comparison, really?
No, but I mean, I'll give you an example. All bar one. I mean, that's closed, hasn't it? So that's quite a large premises that's closed in the area. I doubt that the license will be still live on that. You'll be able to the local authority will be able to add to that. But I know the ones in Croydon and elsewhere have been surrendered.
Okay, just to clarify that, obviously under cumulative impact policy isn't really a one in, one out situation. So yeah. So yes, we obviously have had some dialogue via email. You obviously made contact once you'd received the police representation. Just to note for the panel that police have continued to state that we'd like the panel to hear this, and although conditions were offered, they were something for the panel to consider. We still believe this application should be refused in its entirety. So just from what we've discussed today, you've mentioned about how you're looking to have one SIA to deal with people post 2300. Can I just ask, how is that SIA person going to stop people leaving with takeaways? So as in, if someone decides, actually, I don't want to stay here, it's crowded, there's 12 people already sitting, how is one person going to manage everything inside the door and stop people leaving? Okay. How do you foresee that working?
So can I just stand correct? The SIA agreed with the police and ourselves. It's from 2100, not 2300. So it'll be from 2100. Now the premises is quite a small premises, and the premises from 2300 would be close to entry, but we're not expecting, you know, how can I say, hundreds of people to congregate at the premises. It's only a small burger joint, so if someone wants to leave, they can leave. With the individual being able to manage the door, but also being able to actually be inside the premises. We're not talking floors. We're not talking huge areas to cover. So it's manageable with one SAA.
But you said your client would agree to no takeaways, so they shouldn't be leaving the premises with food.
Oh, so did you say with food? Sorry, I thought you meant just leaving the food because I didn't feel comfortable with the crowd. No,
as in they're fed up with the crowd, pick up their food and try and leave.
Oh, I see. No, they would be able to actually leave quite happily, or readily, I should say, with one SIA staff there. I mean, like I said, they've been operating for 6 months up until 11 o'clock, and there hasn't been any incidents.
And I think, does this particular operator in Brighton have any experience of operating in West Street after 2300? Because you've mentioned Croydon and places like that, but does this operator working in Brighton, have they ever worked anywhere else on West Street after 2300 and experienced what that is like?
No, they haven't. No, I didn't think that was a prerequisite, but I would find out from him whether or not he's got that experience of working on West Streets.
Okay. So you've mentioned there's 12 covers. Obviously, you know, more than 12 people might want to be in the premises. That means that you might end up with a bit of a queue. How, again, is this one SIA going to manage a queue outside, the people inside, and any potential crime and disorder?
I can only go on other premises in London. There's not usually a queue to go into Smack's Hamburgers. Given that there's a lot of other foods offerings in the area, I don't envisage there being a queue outside the. I mean, the pricing structure is such that a burger is quite expensive. It's not. We're not talking McDonald's prices. We're talking potentially double that price. So we're not going to be appealing to the McDonald's clientele. Well, this is more gourmet burger style. So a different clientele who would be dining, paying sort of £12-15 for a burger.
Okay, I'm just a bit concerned that how one person would be able to manage all that. You mentioned during the week from Sunday to Thursday that in-house would manage the doors. Would that be all the way up till 3 a.m?
Yes, because
Okay,
the door would be locked. The door would be locked.
But then how can people eat in if the door is locked?
No, because we won't be offering eat-in after 11.
Just during the week? I'm sorry, I'm very confused.
Yeah, so we're following the conditions that we agreed with the police. So originally we came up with a 3 a.m. closure, and then through dialogue with yourselves, we curbed the operation through conditions.
Okay, but then if you shut at midnight, you've still got an hour of licensable activity.
Yes.
So are your people who are going to be managing that door Sunday to Thursday, do they have an SIA license? Because without that, they cannot eject anybody. They would have to be, if they are going to be acting in a door supervisor's role to be able to actively remove people or prevent people coming in, they would need to have an SIA license. And I would be concerned that that members of staff would be put in a really difficult position during the week if that was the case.
Yeah, that's agreed. But again, through the conversations with the police, we discussed and we agreed SIA from Thursday and Friday and Saturday. Sorry.
So I just like to say that wasn't actually agreed with the police. These were things we put forward for the panel to look at. We do not think this license should be granted at all. So it's not that police definitely agree with those conditions with you, and that's not what I said in my dialogue to you. Actually, we have maintained our rep throughout to you, saying that we do not believe that conditions can mitigate the risk here. So I just wanted to make that really clear. So yes, we've discussed that your client has not had any reported issues. I can confirm I have checked the police systems and that I cannot see that there has been any calls in the 6 months to the premises up until 2300. But as I said, it's a very, very different experience operating after 2300, and I'm not sure that your client really appreciates the gravity of that, just based on what you have presented today. And I think that if the committee were to grant this, then really I think there would need to be a lot of conditions to manage this, because I do not feel confident that the operator would be able to operate just from what I've heard today. Yeah, I don't think I have any more questions. I think that's answered everything that I had to ask. So thank you, Richard, for that.
Thank you. I've got one more question, but I'm looking at Donna. Is there anything that you would like to ask questions before I pitch in with mine? I don't know why I put my hand up.
No, I think Claire's covered all the concerns that we also have regarding.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Just going back to some of the conversation you've had with Claire, Richard. First of all, you say that these burgers are expensive, and I'm just thinking, who's going to stagger in there at sort of 2 o'clock? Where are they coming from? Who are you aiming at? I mean, if this was in, I don't know, slightly out of town, where you might have someone coming home from a shift, or say a taxi driver fancies a decent burger instead of a McDonald's. I'm wondering, how many clients customers is your client expecting to get just on the kind of walking past? Because if they look at the menu and think, oh blimey, I'm not paying that, all I want is to stuff my face with and it won't be a McDonald's, because hang on, where's the nearest McDonald's? Can't remember. It's probably Burger King round the corner. which
Western Road
so
is the nearest McDonald's.
yeah, that's yeah, it's kind of up and around a bit. So I'm just thinking, first of all, you're saying your client needs to earn extra money, but I'm struggling to see how they're going to sort of make it work, where, you know, they're charging a lot for burgers, and who are they expecting? And I mean, there's so many issues here about the drivers and the, you know, and people getting annoyed because they can't have a takeaway. So I just wondered, who is the clientele? What your clients aiming at?
I think there is an offering there which will appeal to people. We're not going to, like I said, we're not going to be your McDonald's, and we're not going to sell thousands of burgers every night. But I think there is a market there for an upmarket burger establishment, and I feel, you know, the applicant feels that through their experience across London, they do have. They don't feel that there's going to be the same takeaway market as there is in London, as in deliveries. However, they do believe that there's going to be individuals who may want to come in, sit down, want to eat a burger, pay the money, eat their food and leave. That's from their experience of dealing with it. It's not going to be a busy outlet. There's not going to be queues of people out there, and the applicant is quite amenable to working with the authorities. In no way does he want to cause a problem or contribute in any way or fashion to the CIZ. I mean, he hasn't done at all in the other areas where there are CIZs. They've worked quite nicely with the community, and has provided that service. But I don't think we're going to have hundreds of people sort of queuing or wanting to have a burger.
Thank you. Thank you. Unless there's any more questions from anybody, Rebecca. Yeah.
Sorry, through you, Chair. I just wanted to check with the applicant further to what Claire said. Have you? I don't think the panel's been party to your discussions. Are you saying that during the week you wouldn't have eat-in then after 11 p.m?
No.
But
I think the applicant has said that to curb the impact on the CIZ, they're happy to go back to 11.
And that's Sunday to Thursday.
To Thursday, yes.
And then, but Friday and Saturday, you would like eat in until 2 or 3 a.m.
Yes.
But with a door supervisor. And you were saying you'd close the front door, but that would be open for people who wanted to eat in.
Just no, it would be guarded by or I should say managed by one SIA staff.
Okay, and then obviously the panel has options to vary that scenario if they felt it was appropriate. But okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Now we're going to move on to summaries. I'd like to invite, first of all, Claire, if you've got your summary ready, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'll keep it brief, just a summary. We have heard from the applicant today. I would argue that nothing that the police have heard today is exceptional circumstances, and if anything, it's raised more concerns and queries around how the premises will operate. We've heard that they don't have any or don't believe they have any experience in operating in such a sensitive area post 2300. I've told you about the crime levels. We do see that peak between 1 and 2 from a Saturday into Sunday, but from Friday into Saturday and Saturday into Sunday, there is a high level of crime between midnight and 4, which is exactly the hours that this would cover. Which evidence the real risk to crime and disorder, and the risk that adding more licence plate activity into an area that is already extremely problematic could cause. We've heard that the applicant has said they will close during the week, Sunday to Thursday, due to CIZ. However, the impact we see is much more at the weekend. So I'm not entirely sure that that would make much of a difference. And Sussex Police continue to have concerns, and that we would ask that the panel refuse this application in its entirety, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claire. Donna?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'll keep mine very short as well. Yeah, unfortunately, I think following this hearing, if we didn't have concerns before, we probably got more now. So we've heard nothing that would demonstrate exceptional circumstances, and therefore we'd ask the panel to consider refusing this application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Richard, have you, do you need a few minutes to prepare a summary, or have you got?
No, I've got it here. Thank you, Councillor. As mentioned in my statement, the business has taken reasonable steps to avoid making a negative impact on the community. It's been quite clear on how it proposes to control its activities so as not to put impact on the CIZ. The increase in hours from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. will be a welcome boost to the declining nighttime economy and make the business more viable in the future. I would ask members to also note the business has been and will be operating within the parameters set within the council's statement of licensing policy. Therefore, there will be no impact on the cumulative impact zone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And if nobody else has got anything they'd like to add, I will hand over to Rebecca. Oh, Emma, is there something?
Would you like me to sum up? Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, Emma. Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay. Obviously, we did discuss quite a lot of things, and so some of these may be a bit repetitive, but the panel has heard from all parties and must now consider whether the applicant has shown exceptional circumstances to depart from the statement of licensing policy. The applicant and police have provided some proposed conditions should the licence be granted, and as well as these, the following measures were discussed. Whether there are exceptional circumstances, who the customers are, various conditions such as closing to the public at midnight with delivery only, or eating in only from 11 p.m. till 3 a.m. with no takeaways, or deliveries and SIA staff to be in place. SIA store staff under certain circumstances, for example, takeaway from 9 p.m. until 3 a.m. Friday and Saturday, with in-house staff to manage the doors Sunday to Thursday. Doors to be locked at a certain time if approved for delivery only and managed by SIA staff. Curbing deliveries from 2300 hours or midnight with eat-in only after that. And during the week, eat-in only after 11 Sunday to Thursday, Friday to Saturday until 2 or 3 a.m. As I said, a number of these variations of the above were considered. They also asked whether the client would be amenable to closing hours before 3 a.m. or shorter operating period. The applicant stated they would be amenable to 2 a.m. closure. The conditions relating to delivery drivers were discussed, including no deliveries after midnight or no congregation of drivers outside the premises. It is noted that deliveries would be picked up from the front door in West Street with the door locked to the public. Police were concerned as to how staff would be able to stop customers leaving the premises with food, and whether one SIA staff will be able to control the premises. Various conditions were canvassed around these. Licensing guidance 9.37 states that in determining the application with a view to promoting the licensing objectives in the overall interest of the local community, the licensing authority must give appropriate weight to the steps that are appropriate to promote the licensing objectives, to representations including supporting information presented by all the parties, the licensing guidance and the statement of licensing policy. It's important to note that each application will be given individual consideration on its own merits. Thank you.
Sorry, my mouse had moved away. Thank you very much, Emma. Rebecca, is there anything you'd like to say before we move on to?
I don't think there's anything I can add unless you've got any questions of me. And have you canvassed? I think you probably have, but canvassed all potential scenarios. So unless you've got any questions, I don't think I've got anything to add.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we will now sort of go into closed session to deliberate and come up with our recommendation. Rebecca will write a letter, and it should be with you. Is it 5 working days we're looking at, Rebecca, or how are you fixed this week?
Well, hopefully 5 working days, and if not, perhaps but that's the sort of aim in the regulations. Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be myself and the other 2 panel members, and Rebecca and Frankie, who is our note taker. Or hang on, is it going to be? Is it going? Oh, sorry, Ollie. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wondering, are we reconvening in the pre-meet?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Sean, I see Frankie's not on the call. Is are you clerking for the?
Yeah, I've taken over from Frankie, yeah, because he's had to go to another meeting because of this meeting rolling on a little bit. So
sorry about that.
No, it's not your problem. There's a power cut. So I've stepped in to be with you in the discussions. But as you're about to say, I take no part in the discussions. I'm only I'm not a decider. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so now thanks everybody, and I'm really sorry about the earlier delay. I just hope there's internet when I get back home, otherwise I'll be distraught. Anyway, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your holiday, Richard, and I'll see the rest of you, or the committee, the panel, and Rebecca and Sean in the other room. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.